Hello and welcome to the first in the preview series for the BTC, the British Teen Championships. So we're going to be interviewing a number of the athletes that are going to be involved as we lead up to that exciting event. But in order to get a little bit more information on what exactly the British Teen Championships is, we have the dream team duo of mum and daughter, Emma and Mandy Dean. I should have said that the other way around, probably. Mandy and Emma Dean, if we're doing mum and daughter. Hello, Emma. Hello, Mandy. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Jace. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very excited to learn more about the British Teen Championships. I'm safe in the knowledge that I will not have to compete because I've aged out. So it's going to be a fun discussion. Emma, don't look at me like that. I've definitely aged out of this one. Because I'm not going to say how happy I am to have aged out when we get to the Masters. I'm just going to quietly keep quiet on that one.
All right, I'll make a note.
So Emma and Mandy, you founded this event. So before we start to speak to the athletes and hear why they're excited about it, we'd just like to know more about the event itself, maybe what inspired you to create it, what it is in the first place is probably the best place to start. So what exactly is the BTC?
So British Teen Championships is a competition for teenagers. So from anywhere 12 years and upwards. We started this competition because there was just a huge gap there. There wasn't anything that was specific for kids and teens that allowed them to, show off their skills, their fitness and their strength. And I coached a group of amazing teens and kids and was looking for competitions to send them to, and there were none. So we felt very passionate about the fact that we wanted to provide like a really good opportunity for these kids and those teens to show off their skills. Really, it gives them the motivation to train. So myself and mum got together with Barnaby from CrossFit Connect at the time, and we put on a summer kind of throwdown, I guess you can say. It was great, an event on the seafront in Hove. On the seafront in Hove, we had Hove Lagoon, so we had some paddle boarding, and it was just a real fun, get kids outdoors and showing off their best and fitness testing.
I think it's nice because obviously, you said you're coaching this group of kids, so you're seeing day in, day out the hard work that they're putting in. And we know that, functional fitness is hard. It's a lot of work. And I guess, saying that, they want a chance to express that. And then you're looking for a competition that you're just not finding. There kind of is only one solution, but it's probably a solution that other people would look at and go, looks like a lot of work. So I'll wait for another solution. But that wasn't what you did. You guys stepped up and decided to create something. When exactly was this? So when was the first Teen Championships?
So first one was back in 2016. So this is going to be our 6th year of competition this year. And like you were saying, exactly that. And also wanted to put a fair competition on for the kids, like 1 safe and 2 fair, and 3 I'd say competitive as well. Like we wanted to push these kids. We're not giving them easy tasks to complete, but the fair one is the important one because we entered these kids in a few competitions, and it was basically an adult competition with a kids section thrown on the side, and it was really disappointing to go to these competitions and for the organizers to turn around and be like, oh yeah, so kids, have you got a parent that can come and judge you? And we were just horrified because we were like, that's the worst thing that you can do, like have parents give you your bro reps and stuff. That kind of founded the whole thing, I would say, and credit to Mum and Barnaby really for their inspiration and their ideas for thinking it was possible, because I would have been like, no, it can't happen. But we went big and it's paid off.
And I guess it must be nice for the teens to kind of feel they have that validation, because you wouldn't expect any other athlete to rock up to a competition and be told, well, did you bring a judge? That doesn't make sense, right? And as soon as that happens, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, so this isn't really a serious competition. Like nobody's taking this seriously.
Exactly.
Then, which again goes back to the all that time of all that hard work, hours in the gym that you've been perfecting that movement or for this movement, whatever it may be, to then kind of go there like, I'm gonna have a chance to show it off, and just immediately before you even begin feel like, oh, this isn't the right venue, this isn't the right place to do that. So you've been running for 6 years. This is gonna be a 6th year, you said.
Yeah.
I guess, how has it changed then from year 1, where you were kind of saying that was nice out on the seafront, sounds lovely, but I'm guessing after 6 years it's going to look quite different now.
Yeah, and after a year of COVID as well. So we look to just get a little bit bigger and a little bit better each year. We have more entrants each year. It just tends to go up gradually. And the entrants come from further away. So more and more Europeans. We get a huge Irish contingent that come over every year, which is just brilliant. They're so competitive and such a lovely bunch. So they travel from all over. The skill set develops, so it gets harder. We will push the RX athletes. There's always that scaled section where we say anyone can do it, and we'll modify just to make sure everyone gets that competition experience, which is what we get. A lot of the younger kids just want to do a competition, and we don't want to hold them back. We want them to get that experience, and especially in our safe environment. We are progressing it each year in terms of what we do, like adding the paddle boarding in, the lagoon crossings and things like that. This year is a pretty big move. We're moving to CrossFit Southampton, which is huge for us because it's a big facility, lots more interesting equipment, shall we say, without giving anything away. So this is our finals that will happen in Southampton, and it's also the first year we've done online qualifiers into finals. So last year we tested out that kind of online workout kind of thing, see how it went, and it went okay. It's tough judging those online videos, a lot of hours involved, but I think it works best. And then with like number restrictions and stuff, that gives us a top 5 or 6 that can go through to the finals in Southampton in September.
So I guess, and at this point, maybe we could just break down exactly kind of how it works if someone does want to get involved, because this online component, and you've already, you've mentioned the C word, COVID. So obviously that will have changed maybe plans you could have had a couple of years ago on how you might want things to progress. Now, more and more, I mean, even, like the CrossFit Games had to do a lot, shift a lot onto online formats. And even now, there's still that kind of last chance qualifier thing there, because who knows in what's happening with what people are allowed to do and competitions, if they can run and that. But at this, by the sounds of things, people, at least that first element, they can do, because that's going to be online. So because you mentioned you have people from all over Europe who might have initially thought, well, this year, what can I do? Because if there's travel restrictions, if I'm not going to be allowed in, or if I have to come in and quarantine or whatever it may be. So the online component is going to be available to everyone. You've mentioned fairness a couple of times. I'm not 100% sure if we've broken down the divisions. So from what age to what age, and in what categories are they fitting in, just in case somebody is 14 who doesn't really want to throw down against a 21-year-old?
Yeah, so it's all based off like our experience of years and years of coaching teens, and what age groups to separate them into. And we found that it works brilliantly how we do it. I'm not saying it's the right way, but it works for us. So how we do it is we just have one category for scaled, and that is 12 to 16 years. So it's supposed to be 13 to 16, but we always get so many 12-year-olds that want to join in, and we're like, okay, but you have to do scaled. So 12 to 16 is the cutoff point. And the reason for that is we think 17 and older, we think we should be really trying to hit those RX standards. And if they can't, most of our workouts will be like a build up of, say, like a gymnastics skill, and it starts with an easier skill and it ends with a harder skill. So we like to get everyone involved in that sense. And then RX age categories is 13 to 15, the youngest, 16 to 17, and then it's usually 18 to 19, but this year we've opened it up to the 21-year-olds, because there's nothing really for those 19, 20-year-olds, unless they're just thought to be an adult and just pushed into those adult competitions, which, as you've seen in previous years in the games and stuff, has been that missing gap. There's not been many, but then I say that this year, here come the teenagers. Pretty impressive. But yeah, fairness also relates to like the fact that we have a head judge that is fantastic and will be really, really strong and strict but fair. And we have top quality judges for all our comps because we think the kids and teens deserve that.
Yeah, definitely. So when I guess if we're just going to break down the journey, if somebody is like, okay, I'm interested, sounds good. So when do they need to register for, and when will the online component be?
Brilliant questions. The basics that I always miss out. So it's all on our social media. So if you just type in British Team Champs, you'll get all the information on there. But basically, your online qualifiers are the 25th to the 28th of June. 25th to the 28th of June. So you have until the 28th of June to register.
Okay.
But if you go and register now, you can register and you can see who's on your leaderboard. So you can start checking out who your competitors are and things like that. So that's really fun. And then never know, you might get a call from you, Jason, to get into interviewing them.
I was literally going to add that. I was going to be like, who knows? You might get, but you preempted me. Well done. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so I mean, I guess again, that's like the beauty of an online format, isn't it? Is that you've not got to put travel arrangements in place in advance. It's literally the day before. You can think, you know what? Yeah, I am feeling good. I feel up for it. Because I guess I don't know. I don't know if teens reason the same way we do, but I think there's a lot of hesitation to commit to something when, oh, what if gyms close again? What if I can't train as much as I'd like to? So I can see why people might hold off, but it's nice that, well, don't worry about that, because even last minute, there's still going to be the opportunity to say, oh, actually, my gym didn't close. I was able to train the way I planned. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong. Right. I'm gonna jump in and see how I do on this competition.
Yeah, definitely. And I also don't think that anyone really wants to do another online qualifier, but it's the fairest way we can do it this year. Just with our limitations at the finals. So we are trying to be the fairest. We wish we didn't have to do online qualifiers, but like you said, it does help those international athletes. So we've got some Americans entered, and they get to throw down with kids of the same age across the world, which is really fun for them.
Yeah, and I think it's if this is something that, and I assume if they're signing up for this is something that these kids are are passionate about, and they want to progress in this is their sport. This is what they want to do well in, and there's often that discussion, isn't there, about you need that experience on the competition floor, and it doesn't matter how much you train in the gym, you're just not going to get that. And until something like this, there hasn't been that many opportunities. And that was something that we saw with sanctional competitions. And it was like, oh, finally, these teens are getting a chance to actually compete with, some of the more elite division athletes and get that experience a lot quicker than in the past. But if you can, as you say, come over from America or from other parts of Europe and all throw down together, it's just building those blocks of, well, this is how to compete. That's going to serve them really well, but also a nice fun time. And actually, that was going to be my next question. What can people expect if they do sign up for this, and if they, they qualify and they get to go there in Southampton? What will be awaiting them? Obviously, not the workouts. You can't tell us that. But what's the, you think of things like Waterpalooza, that kind of fitness festival. What's the vibe that we get from the teens competition?
The teens is just such a supportive atmosphere. Like, they always bring their entourage, families, and I've never seen such a lovely network of kids and the support they have for each other. We had a really great story actually from our last live comp we had. So not last year, that was online. Year before, we had this boy, I think he was 17. Well, was he 17? The Scottish boy, Scottish lad, can't remember his name. He came down from Scotland. And he brought a bus ticket. It cost him like £7.50 to get to our comp. So we're like, this can be a cheap comp. You don't have to buy a flight. He'd never snatched before in his life. We had like a 1 rep max snatch, but all the other kids were like helping him and showing him how to lift and how to get the best snatch. And he ended up, I don't know, snatching like 80, 90 kilos or something. And don't get me wrong, he was a big, strong lad, but had never snatched before. Got bust down. had a good workout, had some fun, and like that's our comp. We want these kids to not only get experience but have like a positive experience, so it shouldn't be negative at all. We really promote like always like a spirit of the games awards. I mean, mum does the workout, so you can push her as much as you like on those. I don't think she'll budge, but we can possibly announce that we are trying to use a pitch or some pitches, some outdoor pitches that are near to CrossFit Southampton. Okay, so some outside stuff might be on the cards.
Very exciting. I mean, I'm tempted to try and pry some information from Mandy, but she doesn't look like she's going to give up, you know, these secret workouts. I mean, that's a really nice story about the snatch.
So good.
It hurts a little bit because Emma, you've literally watched me today snatching, and I didn't hit 80. So, and I'm not a teen who's never snatched before. I'm someone who actually claims to like snatching. So that's you know, it's a bittersweet story, but it is nice. I think that's something that people, you know, we often talk about, like the community within CrossFit gyms, for example, that it's just a different spirit, right? And people are cheering, even though you're competing against each other, you're kind of cheering each other on. And I guess how much more important when you're still developing your kind of, you know, you as teens, you're still developing into that person you want to be as an adult, that you're surrounding yourself with this kind of really positive atmosphere where people are encouraging each other to do well, supporting one another. So it sounds like a really exciting competition. I'll give you one final opportunity then, just to do your ultimate sales pitch. If somebody is listening to this and they're a little bit on the fence and they're like, maybe it's for me, maybe it's not, I'm not 100% sure, what would be the kind of your final words just to knock them over the line and get them to sign up for this competition?
It's hard to add. I think we've covered most things that I've wanted to. I mean, to further on from that, one of our primary goals that from the start was that we wanted to improve the network of teens fitness within the UK. So I've seen from first-hand experience how now these network of teens now interact, and they go and train with each other, and they've met friends that they have for life at our competitions. They stay in touch, they go and train and hang out, and it's just so lovely to see. So yeah, I mean, the networking, we care about every athlete that enters. Like, we have so much passion and we care so much about our athletes. Yes, we will push your capabilities, but we normally find that we open up these kids' eyes to like what they think they're capable of. We've had first bar muscle ups, heaviest snatches, you know, like so much first pull-ups, the amount of first pull-ups we had at that comp one of the years. Yeah, just kids scared of water got on the paddleboard and were paddling across. Like it was just, you know, inspiring and encouraging. And if you want something to motivate yourself, yeah, you might not do great this year, but next year you've got something to train for. We're always going to put these events on because we love doing it. And yeah, I think anyone can enter, even if you're brand new to CrossFit and you've never done it before. There's that scaled option for you, or we can change it up to suit you. You know, that's what we're here for.
I think that's nice. I guess when you hear the word kind of competition or championships, you have that mentality initially, don't you? Of, well, if I'm not going to win, what's the point? But actually what you're saying is, okay, if you even think you're going to come dead last, that's fine. Still come, because you're going to meet people that you're going to be able to train with, that are going to be able to help you. And then, you know what, next year, you're not going to be dead last. You might not win, but you're definitely going to improve. And if you keep doing that year after year, and that's the great thing about being a teen, is you've got so much time. You know, you're not aging out of the sport, you're actually aging into the sport. And it's a brilliant time to build that, you know, that base. Who knows, these might be your teammates in the future when you decide to go kind of team at the games, who knows? So incredible opportunity. If you're still a little bit on the fence, you think, well, I'd like to hear from some of the athletes. Well, subscribe to the channel, keep watching, because we're going to have some one-on-one interviews with past teen championship members, or competitors, we should say, maybe, as well as those that have signed up already for this year. So keep watching this space, and we'll see you all in the next series of videos.